Thanks, Josh. Okay, so 1 week from today is the career fair. Who's been to a career fair before? Few of you. How many of you, this is your very first year at Ensign College? Good. I'm so glad you're here. How about your second year? Third year? Fourth year? Fifth year? Sixth year? Seventh year? We have that. No. Okay, so this is going to be a hands-on workshop. So you're going to be doing things. I'm not just listening to me talk. So you're going to want to have the Handshake app or the Handshake website on your laptop. If you have a laptop, go ahead and get it out because there's some things you can do on the laptop that you can't do on the app. And we're going to be using Handshake and LinkedIn. So if you can get logged into both of those right now, you'll be ready for the hands-on part. If any of you get stuck and you're like, oh my gosh, I thought I had a Handshake login and I can't get in or whatever, we've got helpers right up here in the lobby. So you can step out, they'll help you get logged in, and then you can come right back in. So our tech support's in the lobby, and you're gonna want Handshake, LinkedIn, ready to go. Okay, so career fair, like we said, is next Thursday. You guys seen this slide in your classes?
Yes.
So what's the purpose of career fair? So it may lead to a job. What else?
Network.
Yeah, a network. What else?
To learn.
Help look for internships.
Learn strategies to how to talk or present yourself.
Yes, I love it. So to get better, to get to practice, how do I present myself to employers in a way that helps them be interested in me? Right? Okay. Anything else? Networking. Yeah, networking, good. Build relationships and learn about companies, right? So if you're going to do an internship or you're going to work for a company, you want to kind of know, is this the company I'd want to work for? Right. So even if you're a brand new student, you can still do all those things at career fair, especially because you're coming to this class and you're going to know how to do some things. So sometimes you get job offers or interviews at a career fair, but usually it's just the starting part of that process of learning about companies you want to work with, starting to build a connection with them, starting to learn how to do the application and when and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Okay. So, just a quick little video about Handshake.
So working on it as a medical doctor.
I would hope to be on my way to partner at the Big Four.
Become an oncology social worker. I really want to be able to make an impact.
I don't want to make money just to make money.
I want to make a difference.
While I do know I want to do law, I don't have access to resources or people who can help me access them.
You don't really know if you're doing the right things, and you don't really have that many people that you know in your network to reach out to who've done this.
The mission at Handshake is to democratize opportunity so that students from any background have access to all of the jobs available on the platform.
Privilege gets taken out of the equation. Everybody has an opportunity that matches their talent regardless of.
I didn't see that there were people in front of me. There are people that thought like me came from my background. But I know that's just not the case.
Employers are able to get in front of students, and students are able to get the jobs that they really want.
We have a lot of ambition. We have a lot of potential.
Finding a job is a very daunting and overwhelming process. Be mindful of the experience that we're going into the world with and be open to a variety of stories. We have a lot of resilience.
We are some of the brightest minds.
We all start somewhere.
Reach the largest
Most diverse.
An active early talent network in the US
On Handshake.
on Handshake.
On Handshake.
Okay. So some of those students talked about sort of what their dream is when they're all done. Does anybody here? What do you guys want to do when you're done with college? Yeah.
The
do my own business.
Do your own business. Anybody else?
I want unicode mining.
Okay, where are you from?
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna guess. Just from what, because there's big mining in Mongolia, right? And you look like somebody else I know that's from Mongolia, so, Oyun, who used to work for us. Okay, what else? Mining, starting your own business. And Kennecott, you have to talk to Mike Ray back there. He used to live out by the mine and maybe he knows people. I don't know. Anybody else want to tell us about your dream career? How many of you are not really sure what you want to be when you grow up? Oh, actually, I like what I'm doing right now, but this is like my 5th career, like totally different career. So if you don't know what you want to be when you grow up, that's totally fine. What you want to figure out is what's the first career that you want to try. You can do that in Design 101 and going and learning about companies is a good way to start to figure that out. So let's see. So in this, we're going to teach you how to research companies, how to see if they have job postings, how to introduce yourself, and also how to check in with an employer at the career fair. So we talked a little bit about this, but if you're a first-year student, it's a good time to start figuring out what kind of companies you want to work for and practice. If you're a second-year student and you're getting your associate's degree, you're going to have to do an internship pretty soon. So you really want to start figuring out what internship job you're going to do. And just to clarify, when you do an internship, there's a class and there's a job. 2 things. You go get a job related to something you studied and got a certificate in, and then you sign up for the class. So the job you search for does not have to have the word internship in the title. Just a job related to one of your certificates, and then you apply for the class at the same time. So anyway, so your second year, you might need an internship right away. Third year, some of the internships and jobs we're going to look at, they won't even look at you until you're a 3rd or 4th year student. So depending on, like a big accounting job or something like that, you have to be thinking way ahead. So if anybody studying accounting in the room? Accounting? No accounting students, any business students? Okay. So some of those companies you might want to start talking to this year and next year for an internship you want to do the following year. That make sense? And then 4th year students, potentially you're getting ready to graduate and get your career job. So now it's really time to hard on your job search. So there's, no matter where you're at in that, you could come to career fair and get something out of it. So we're going to teach you a little bit about how to do research on employers. And so it's sort of good, better, best. Good would be you'd look in Handshake and see what it says about the company. Better would you use Handshake, LinkedIn, and the company's website. And even best, I would say, is you do all those things, and then you also see who's worked at the company, who's working at the company now, and start to talk to people who are working at that company and learn even more from somebody who's actually there. So are you ready to your first practice here? So I want you to pull out your phone, open up Handshake. I'm going to play a video that I tried to do pretty slow. See if you can keep up with all the things on the video. Are we ready? You got your computer or your the video shows you how to do it with the app. So if you've got the app.
Handshake.
Okay, you ready? On your mark. Set. Here we go.
Open the Handshake app. At the bottom, look for events and select it. Next, select career fairs at your school in the upper left. Next, select the career fair that's happening nearest to your date. Now on the center tab, select employers. And scroll down to find an employer that you're interested in. I'm going to use Haney CPAs as an example. Haney & Company CPAs. So then I'm going to select see more. And then I'm gonna select description. So I can see here that they're willing to sponsor candidates. That they are located in Colorado and Arizona and Utah. And that they're gonna be at booth 31 of the career fair. So if I wasn't already following them, I could select follow, and then I'll get notified about job postings and things that they're doing. Now let's go back to the home screen, and hit X, and then hit the back arrow at the top left. And then hit the back arrow at the top left again. And then I'm gonna come down to jobs. Now, I've already got it entered there, but if I typed in Haney and hit search, then I would see that they have 2 jobs that they're posting through Handshake. And if I didn't have them bookmarked, I could bookmark them to easily find those jobs later. And if I'm in general looking for jobs like this, I'd also want to select the notify me about new jobs like this. And then Handshake will send me more jobs like that. So now I'm going to look at the job description. So I'm going to tap tax internship. And I'm going to notice that it pays $25 to $29. It's on site, but there's 5 different locations, including Salt Lake, that I could work at. They have a full-time internship that starts January 6th and runs through May 30th. And that they're happy to hire candidates, international students using OPT and CPT. So this tells me more about the job and the internship job. And also that they're looking for a GPA of 3.0 or higher. And that they're looking for juniors and seniors and accounting majors. And then here's some more information about the company. They've got 250 to 1,000 employees and their headquarters are in West Valley. And so if I didn't have that saved, I could click save on the bottom left. If I was ready to apply, I could click apply and I could fill out the application there. Now, there's even more that I could find out about the company if I'm on Handshake on the desktop version of Handshake, and we'll show you that next.
Okay, were you all able to keep up with that? Did anybody get totally lost? And you think you could do that with another company now?
I got lost.
You got lost a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else get a little bit lost? Okay, so as we're doing this, when we get to your hands-on, you can raise your hand if you have questions and some of our helpers can come around. Now, so I mentioned to you that you can do more research if you're on the desktop app. So I'm going to show you another example. So if you go to, do you see where it says Career Center? Right there. If you have your laptop, you can follow along, but I can send this out afterwards. So on the Career Center, see where it says Ensign Collections? Right here where it says hires from our school. I put in this collection all the employers that are coming to Career Fair. So all the people that are coming to Career Fair have posted 197 jobs on Handshake right now. And here's the employers. Now, we were just looking in the app at Haney. Let's find Haney and Company. And so I copy the name here. If we come down here, we can learn more about the company and then this job. When do I need to apply for this internship?
Before October 31st.
Before October 31st, right up here. So it's getting pretty close if you want to get this internship. Now, I'll show you, if you come down on this job, all the way to the bottom, look, it says alumni at this employer, Neil Sherman. So you can find people who graduated or maybe are still at Ensign College, they're at Haney and Company. But another way you can do it is if you come over here to people and you put in Haney and Company, And then down here at schools, you put in Ensign College. And look, there's at least one person from Ensign College who works at Haney and Company. And so if I wanted to learn more about what this internship is like, I could pull this up. And I could say, okay, so I think it's pronounced Neil Sherman, and he's worked at Haney. And he's at Ensign College right now. He's going to graduate in December. And so I could reach out to him right on Handshake. I could click message and say, hey, Neil, I hear you're working at Haney and Company. What's it like? How'd you get the job? Or I could try to reach out to him on LinkedIn. Or I could see if he's in the class. Is Neil here? Oh, Neil, hey, come on up.
What?
So Neil, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I texted him last night when I saw that he might still be at school. So tell us about how you got the job at Haney and any advice you have.
Well, this is convenient. I actually used Handshake to find the job. But before that, I had an initial approach with them at the last October, September when this happened. It's about a year ago. So I met them then. So I jumped onto their Handshake, found the audit intern position, just clicked apply. They make it super easy. Now that I'm looking at this, I think Handshake has come a long way in a year to be not as advanced. So you guys are lucky that you have this great tool to do so. So after you apply on Handshake, it goes through to the recruiters. I think they're listed under that job description under people. They'll contact you from there if they want to set up an interview. Lucky enough for me, I got the interview. So I went through, met with them, received a full-time offer for an internship, which eventually led to an associate offer with the firm. Yeah, I mean, how many of you are return missionaries? Okay. Do you remember in Preach My Gospel, I think it's chapter 9, the finding section? Is that familiar? Okay, if you remember, there's a tiered list of ways to find people to teach. This is on that list for finding jobs, right? You want to start with your network, but if you've exhausted every best option to find a job, Handshake is the next greatest thing. You don't have any connection. Lucky enough for us, Haney is going to be at the career fair along with many other employers. And so they can help you connect to what jobs are open, and this is where you'll do the application.
Okay, so let me just see if I heard it right. You first found out about Haney at the career fair,
Yes.
and you introduced yourself and found out some about them. And
Yeah, just found, asked them what roles they have open. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. So I asked if they had a particular job, which was the audit role. They said yes. I actually didn't ask them where I could apply. I just went and sought out their website on my own, found it through Handshake when I was looking through. So I connected the names, right? I saw the name of the career fair, saw it on Handshake. I was like, oh, I met those guys. I'm gonna go ahead and click apply.
awesome. Any other tips for being successful at the career fair?
I think just having questions in mind. It's probably awkward for you if it's your first time at a career fair. It's probably awkward for them sitting at a table, you standing over them and whatnot. So having things in mind to talk about. I think the number one thing people love to talk about is themselves. So ask them questions about them, their role, why they like the company they're at, what's interesting about their job. I think that led me to a lot of success at the career fairs.
Great. Does anybody have any questions for Neil? And it is Neil?
Niall.
Nile.
It's close.
Now, like the Nile River.
Exactly.
Okay,
Spelled
Nile.
differently.
Anybody have any questions for Nile?
At what point of your career did you find the job?
So I was lucky enough to find the job posting about 3 months before the job actually starts. So I found the posting after the career fair and then applied and then started just a few months later.
Where were you at in your schooling?
I was a junior, so this is my last semester here at Ensign. I'll graduate in December. So at the time, a year ago, yeah, just a junior.
Did they offer to help pay for your education through their company, or do they have that program, or?
Well, they don't pay for your education. They do pay for your study materials and the exam fees. This is an accounting firm, so accounting firms want you to become a CPA, and that costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So they offer to pay for that. They're also flexible with my school schedule. At the time, I was taking a lot of classes, still am now. So they're just great to work with. I can come and go as I please, get my hours in while still keeping up with my grades. So it's awesome that way.
Offer you training opportunities?
Absolutely. Yeah. The first week you start with them, it was an entire week of just training for the job. Trying to connect with the classroom to what it looks like in the real world. And then after, there's just continual training as you take on new roles and find new things to do.
Instead of working full-time?
So I started part-time just because of my school schedule, but they absolutely would prefer you work full-time for them. So during that 8-week break between the summer semester and this fall semester, I was able to do the full 40 hours. Yeah, any other questions?
So what was the course like that you took along with to help you with your internship?
So it was all just the intro accounting courses. So I'm an accounting major here. It's all the accounting courses required for the degree greatly applies in a role like this, the accounting firm. So those courses helped.
Did you find that they did apply? Did you feel prepared for the job?
Absolutely. Obviously, there are things that are different in the classroom in the real world, the professional world, but the principles we learned here, right, the theory of things we're doing at work, they all connect. I felt very prepared. Obviously, there's a little bit of the imposter syndrome, starting a new job, being paid a lot of money. It's hard, but they're patient with you and they want to teach you everything, so.
Hey, thanks so much for coming. Niall is actually supposed to be in class right now, so he sacrificed his grades so that you could learn from him. So thanks a lot. So do you think if you would have reached out to him, he would have, not in this class, he would have talked to you?
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, right. So there's a lot of people just like Niall who have information that you don't have, but would be happy to be a part of your network. Okay, so that's just one example of how you could have connected with somebody to find out about a job that you're interested in. And like really, if you typed his name just in the school email, it would have popped up. You could have just sent him an email. It would have been that easy. So let's do another example real quick. So if we go down here to Career Center and we go back down to this hires from our school, just to quickly get to the career fair people. We go down to Fidelity. And I go back to people, and put in Fidelity, and then I come down to schools and I say Ensign. Let's see if anybody, oh, look at that. So these guys have worked or are currently working at Fidelity, and they in school or went to this school. So if we look at Angelo, I just saw him right before this class. So he's been working there for a while. And so you could message him, you could send him an email, you could talk to him. Now, how else could you find out where somebody, if any alumni work at a company? I think I heard it. LinkedIn. Okay, so let's look at that real quick. So now I'm going to show you a way that a lot of people don't know how to do. Oh, let's see. You have to sign in. Already. So I'm gonna go.
Do research on the laptop, you'll see all the jobs that. And then you can copy the name here. And then work or currently working. You can graduate the bit and find out LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, if you type in Ensign College. And then click on.
So let me first ask you, if you were trying to figure out if any alumni work at Fidelity, how would you do that? Anybody have an idea?
Sorry.
You were trying to find, is there anybody from Ensign College that works at Fidelity Investments? How would you find that on LinkedIn? Yeah.
If you search the company on LinkedIn.
You could search the company, but then how would you know that they went to Ensign College?
Collections.
So that's what I'm gonna show you right now. So watch this part.
From the name Ensign College. If you come down here underneath Ensign College, says home, my employer, about, post, jobs, and then alumni. If you select alumni, then you can copy that Fidelity Investments in here and hit enter. And you'll see that there's 65 alumni of Ensign College who work or have worked at Fidelity. Now, right now, there's 27 of them that still work at Fidelity. So if we select that, then down below, here's the 27 Ensign College alumni who are working at Fidelity. So if we went up here to Victor, you can see that he graduated in 2020, and he's been at Fidelity for about a year. So if we wanted to get some advice from Victor about Fidelity or what, if it's a nice place to work, we could connect with them on LinkedIn, we could send them a message and get some advice about the company. So that's how you do research. That's how you find people through Handshake and through LinkedIn associated with the companies that you're interested in.
Any questions on that part? Okay, so I'm gonna give you 5 minutes to practice. So what I want you to do is, if you'll pass some of those around. There's some, at the bottom here, there's some names of companies that are in our career fair. What I want you to do, and you can do this in teams if you want to get, like, maybe somebody has a laptop, you didn't bring a laptop. You can get together with somebody else. I want you to find out what jobs or internships do they have right now. And tell me if you found the job on Handshake or LinkedIn or the company's website. What are the requirements for the job? And is there any alumni or connections that you have that work at that? And you've got 5 minutes to see what you can find. And I want to hear from you. Let's go. And Mark, you're set, go.
Here you go.
Research, real better,
If you get stuck, raise your hand.
Oh, let me give a couple to come. Yeah.
And it's easier to do on a laptop.
The handouts.
You can get, you don't have your laptop. You have your laptop? Yeah, let's do it on the laptop.
Use Handshake or? I just don't know how. Thank you.
She got her. A couple of you had questions on how to find people on Handshake. I'll show it again. You can keep working if you already know. If I wanted to see if anybody works at Extra Space Storage. Software. I copy the name. Go to people, because I'm looking for people. Then I'd search by the company name and I'd come down to schools and I'm saying, oops. Ensign College. And it looks like nobody at Extra Space on Handshake works, or nobody at Extra Space Storage shows up on Handshake. And then I would look on LinkedIn. Ensign College. Alumni. For space storage. And we got 12 people that have worked there and 4 people that work there right now.
I can find.
So go to career center.
Used to work
That'll be the ones that are coming to career fair.
In LinkedIn to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. How can I know? That are coming here?
You can look there, under hires from our school. So somebody had a good question. They said, how do I know the employers that are coming to career fair? So you would go to Career Center. Actually, you go to events. Actually, you could do it either way, but. So under events, you see where it says career fairs at your school? If you click on that, you would pick the fall career fair. And then right here, it says all employers. Here's all the employers that are going to be at the career fair.
Yeah, you get your.
Question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question. How do we know if these jobs are accepting international students as employees?
Good question. So I'm going to answer with 2 answers. At the end of this workshop, we're going to tell you about an app called InterStride that is especially for international students to help you answer that question. But on Handshake, where you would look, so let's go back to Career Center and let's go to hires from our school. And we're going to go to this Haney, again, this tax internship. So if I open this up right here, do you see where it says open to candidates with OPT, CPT? That means, yes, they would take international students.
Can you put that on the filter to look at all the jobs?
Yeah, let's see if we can. So if we go to jobs and we go to, let's see, all filters. work authorization, no jobs that are open to candidates with OPT. So that would filter those out.
Great.
Okay, time's up. What did you find out on those questions at the bottom? So did anybody find a job or internship that they're interested in?
Me, supply chain.
Supply chain, you found, and who was it with?
I don't know. Was it there?
Oh, you're just kind of looking at it, okay. Did anybody find any alumni at any of the companies on this list?
ASL.
KSL, who was the alumni?
Juan.
Uriel. Esmeralda.
Out loud, go ahead.
Uriel? Uriel was one of the alumni. Here, I saw him. Was he here? Okay, good. So do you guys feel like you have an idea of how to start to play around with this, to find companies and find people at those companies? Now, so the next thing that we want to talk about. What advice did
You have a.
Niall give you about how to talk to employers? You remember anything he said? He went to an interview, but at the career fair, how did he prepare for talking to employers at the career fair?
Same questions.
You had some questions. What would be? Yeah,
Yeah, he asked if a certain position was open he wanted to go into.
okay, so before he even went to the table, he already knew about the kinds of positions that that company might have. And so he's like, hey, I'm an accounting student. I'm really interested in audit positions. I know that in the past you guys have had audit internships, and I'd love to learn more about that program and kind of what you're looking for. So what does that do if you come into that conversation like that? What does it show the employer?
You're interested.
That you're interested? What else?
You know.
You're informed.
About it.
You know about their company, so they feel loved, right? Because you already knew about them before you showed up. What else?
It guides the conversation in a way you want it to.
Tell me more.
So, when you say it that way, it kind of gets them to follow down the path of, talking about that. Cause if you just go up with something random, they could go off on any job, any tangent. When you do that, it helps focus and keeps it productive without feeling like you're forcing them to. So it's kind of makes it their idea to bring it up. So it's kind of like a win-win situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard somebody else said something, but yeah.
Showing them that you're prepared.
Showing that you're prepared, right? Do you think they'd like to hire people that like do their homework and are prepared? Yeah, so all this automatically you look like you're more prepared than the average person walking around asking for some chapstick. Or whatever they're giving out, right? So yeah, so that. So let's talk a little bit about that. So when you go up to somebody that you've never met before, some people call that a pitch, or what's your pitch? And how are you going to introduce yourself? What's your me in 30 seconds? So there's different levels of how you can be good at this. So like at the bad level would be like, hey, what do you guys do? Or here's another one. Can I have a candy? So that would be at the bad level, right? So if we take it up a step to good, you've got a handout that went around. This is kind of this is a step up. It's really pretty easy. Can I borrow this? So tell them your name, tell them what you're studying, and tell them your goal. So you could say, hi, my name's Rob. I'm studying social media marketing, and I'm going to be looking for an internship next summer, and I'd love to learn more about your company. So what was better about that than the first one?
You were looking for a job.
Yeah, so I'm showing some interest, right, in them and what else?
More
Confident, smile, look them in the eye.
Gave them a specific time frame.
Yeah, you told them kind of your time frame of your goal. Why is that helpful?
If they don't have the internship already prepared for, it takes a few months to be able to do. If they find somebody that they actually think, hey, this would be a good person to bring in, can we create a job for them?
Yeah, so you start to figure out, are we maybe a match for each other, right? and they know what you're studying, maybe they say, you know what, we outsource all of our marketing. I'm so sorry. We wouldn't really have anything for you. Then you're like, well, you know what? It's so nice to meet you. And then you can go talk to somebody else. So you can kind of quickly figure out, should we have more of a conversation, or is this all the level of the conversation that we need? So that's better. Pass that around. This one's a little bit a step up from that. So this one says, start with your name, what you study, your current position, why you're at the event today, highlight any past experiences and skills from those experiences, and what do you hope to do in your future career, and why are you talking to this employer? So let's pretend that I'm going to talk to KSL, and I say, hi, how you doing? My name is Rob. I'm studying digital content creation at Ensign College, and I was really interested in talking to you today because last summer I did an internship with Boncom, and I did a lot of video editing for them. And one of the things I learned is I really love kind of tell a story in a concise way that catches people's attention. And so I'm looking for opportunities in video editing and video production. And I noticed that you have some of those internships at KSL. And so I was interested in learning more about that. So how is that like a step up from the first one or the second one?
You gave them a background, your background experience, and also your future plans.
Yeah, so they now know that I've done something kind of related to what they might be interested in, and that I'm interested in specifically something that I think they're looking for. So now that conversation can, accelerate more quickly. And they might say, oh yeah, every summer we do an internship. It starts on June, but you have to apply by November, and you start having that conversation. Does that make sense? Okay, so now it's time to practice again. So I want you to turn to someone next to you and first do the easy one. Just your name, what you're studying, what your goal is. We'll take a turns doing that, and then see if you can do a little bit better one after that. And then, so you've got 5 minutes. Ready, go.
All right.
Hi, my name is
Well, I'm studying business.
So I'm not prepared for that. Sir, I need. I'm looking for.
That's good.
I mean, I really think that it's interesting. You talk about her. Like,
I didn't.
It's me. I feel it's like, I don't know. It's harder. Louder is harder. You added that really hard. I'm doing right now. It's not So, I'm studying. Everyone know what it is. I have I'm coordinating was a veterinarian, and I have my on business in target market, so I work with Ingrid. Great, no, let me start again. Sorry, I need to start. Thank you. Thank you. I'm trying to
Right now.
You're studying.
And then I got out of the plan.
So great.
I believe
I really. I don't recommend like this manifestation.
Yes, you're studying the data.
Up there. That's good. But I think it's good. You better. Higher ed, this year.
Yeah. Well, we are trying to organize my office down here and.
She needs one.
We don't.
Relax.
That's the thing that you have previous.
I'm starting marketing.
Software engineer is good, because a lot of those skills.
Can I take these over?
Last week I had a. Created content.
Yeah, or can buscar. I hope he.
Workshops.
And just trying to make like.
Then companies for products and. I'm looking for it. We are international.
Yeah, I'll talk about that right now.
And I feel like
Security. I have a degree in finance. I got laid off. And my skills are. Not like everybody else to do web things that, in the back end. That's not where my area of expertise. Like, kind of big thing.
So, and now
I go to the end, I'm like,
It's like stop. In winter.
we actually. You had, all of that.
kind of help. As people have come.
Use as regularity.
Got 'em. Our program said, do. Yeah. The new program, there you go. Yeah. I'll let Utah State on my LinkedIn.
We got that one, but do we have to get that one? No.
Okay, if I could have your attention, please, you'll wrap up what you're talking about.
Can I bring you back now? We can look.
So in the US, when like at Scouts, this was a Scout sign, and we held this up at Met, okay, everybody quiet, we're gonna talk now. Yeah, you probably don't know that, but I just thought it'd be fun. Anyway, so good job practicing. There's been a couple questions about international students and how to approach employers when you're international students. Just real quick, there's a handout going around that has a lot of good information from Sister Hayes about dressing well and bringing a resume, and has some good example questions that you could ask. and how you can use AI to come up with some questions. So take a look at those handouts. There's some really good information on that. I'll bring a notepad so you can take notes when they say our internship application is October 30th, and like have some way to capture this information that they're giving you. But so 2 things, you can scan this right now while I'm talking. This is the new app that the college just paid for that's specifically for international students. Anybody can use it, but it has tons of information about what does OPT mean? What does CPT mean? What is an H-1B visa? Like if I wanted to get sponsored to have a work permit in the US, what are the different ways I could do that? So they have webinars, they have articles, and then they have a job search engine that is specifically companies that sponsor a lot of international workers. So if you're an international student, you want to just really get familiar with InterStride. But let's answer a couple quick questions. And Eddie's the internship manager. So he in the international office, Eddie's right here, is the expert. Eddie was also an international student, so he knows what it's like from the inside to be an international student. And so, but CPT is curricular practical training. That is work authorization during an internship. So it has to be related to your degree, but it means you can work for any company in the United States as long as it's related to an internship and you're enrolled in an internship class. OPT is after you graduate, and that lets you work for a year or 3 years, depending on what you studied. For any company in the United States, they don't have to sponsor you. It just has to be related to what you studied in school. So those are 2 easy ways you can work for any company in the US. And then the other way would be for them to sponsor you and say, we're going to pay the money and try to help you get a permanent work thing. So should you go up to a company and say, hi, I'm an international student. Do you sponsor visas? That's not a good, not a good pitch. So don't even talk about it. You don't even have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about that. What you want to do is try to build that relationship and try to get a job. If they offer you a job, then you can work out the details of the CPT and the OPT. And if they ask you about it, say, yes, I'm authorized to work in the United States as part of jobs that are related by degree, if they ask you about it. But I wouldn't even bring it up. Now, if you get a job, an internship job, and they're like, this person is amazing, I want them to keep working for me. And then they maybe want to keep you there for your OPT. So now you're there for a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever your degree allows. By then they're so in love with you. They're like, what do we have to do to keep you here? They said, well, you could sponsor my visa. How much is that? Okay, let's do that. And then they pay the money and sponsor your visa. So those just save all those conversations for later, because you don't really need to talk about it right now. And if you start with that, they're probably going to say no. But once they fall in love with you, then they're just going to have to pay the money for your visa, right? So, any questions about?
What is that, $1,000? Any idea?
It's 20. It's a lot of money. So you want them to really love you before you have that conversation. Any questions about anything we've talked about so far today? Yeah.
Like, for example, that is until internship class, or as, for example, me, as I'm a new student, could I apply for some jobs this or until?
Good question. So if you're an international student, you can only work on jobs that are considered on-campus jobs until it's time for your internship. And you could find those if you go to the school website and you go to employment. And then these are full-time faculty jobs for students. So jobs at Ensign College are on campus, jobs at BYU Pathway are on campus, and jobs at the church headquarters, meaning downtown, most of those are on-campus jobs. So an international student could work at any of those places as long as the job is 20 hours or less until your internship, and then you could work 20 hours or 40 hours. It's a vacation semester if it's related to your internship. But all that, you'd want to talk to Eddie's team in the international office, and they know all the details about that. Any other questions? Yeah.
In the case that when I was noticing that when we are applying to job offers, in the forms mentioned, are you willing to get sponsorship? And and we have like three options, yes, no, I prefer no answer. What is the suggestion to choosing that?
Are they, it's a question, do you need sponsorship? Is that the question?
Yeah, that's the question.
I would say that you don't need sponsorship for your early job, right? Because you can do OPT, you can do CPT.
I didn't mention in the future, are you going to need a sponsorship?
Well, then it probably, if you will need it, then I'd say yes, because you want to be honest and. But I would show it to Eddie and he would give you better advice. It's hard to tell without me kind of seeing the form.
I have a question. So for example, in a science field, I can extend my OPT for 24 months, right?
Right.
So this is a cost for the company.
It's a what?
The company has to pay for this.
No.
Extend the
No. So the company doesn't have to pay for your CPT for your internship and they don't have to pay for your OPT. You have to pay something for your OPT, but
Yeah.
then the company doesn't have to pay anything unless they decide to sponsor you permanently.
Okay.
Is that right, Eddie? Yeah.
Most of the companies that I saw in the career fair, it says like required US work authorization.
Right. Which you have.
Okay.
Because CPT and OPT is US work authorization, so you can answer yes to that.
You got
That.
I was looking at some of the jobs that people with CPT or OPT can apply to, and some of these jobs are outside of the state.
It doesn't matter. You can work outside the state.
But then like if we're doing an internship and we're studying as well, like how can we?
Yeah, so that's where you'd want to have a conversation with Eddie in the international office of how you'd work that, but it is possible.
Okay.
Any other good questions?
I have a.
Last question.
Sorry, I have another question. So in many companies I apply, in the form, they have a field that say, do you need or you will need a sponsorship? So I don't know how to answer because I don't know. I don't need a sponsorship right now because I have the CPT and OPT, but in the future, maybe I will need so.
How would you answer that, Eddie?
Unless it says it's required, don't answer the question. And like Rob was saying, let them get in love with you and your job. And they will change the rules then after, and they will ask you to stay rather than you asking to stay.
Because it is an honest answer. You do not need any sponsorship to start working for them. That's honest. Now, if they want to keep you a long time, then we'll have to have a different conversation. Okay, one last thing.
That was my same.
That was just handed out here. That's, it's got the blue writing on it. On the very back, it says, write thank you notes. I think that's really important. That is a great memory. You're asking AI to help you write a thank you note. If you take somebody's name that you talk to, you can network with that person by sending a thank you note.
It's a great suggestion. Okay, so one last thing. On Monday, you're going to get to hear from Mike Ray over here in the corner. He's the Director of Career and Internship Services. He's had a very extensive career. He worked at Intel and MarketStar. He's been a senior vice president. He has a lot of experience and he's a very spiritual guy. So you're going to get the combination career advice and spiritual advice. So you don't want to miss that. And of course, Thursday's the career fair. And then I'm going to thank you for coming. And then I'm going to let Boncom give a quick announcement of something they're doing out here in the plaza. So thanks so much for coming today.